Hi, folks. Andrew here, Top Fitness Strategies. I am the face who runs the place. We got a great interview coming up for you today, and this is going to be completely different, and you'll understand why in just a second. Because you're used to me talking with folks more my age, right? Because, Top Fitness Strategies, we're all about the fitness over 50, look better, feel better, gain some confidence. Well, I got a little bit of a twist for you on this one, and you'll understand in just a second. I'm going to bring him on. Hold on a second here. Let me do my stuff here. All right. My guest today is Connor Sleeman. Connor is the founder of Aesthetics Lifestyle. I can't even say that word, Connor, and you'll this is old hat for me, and people listen to me. An aesthetic lifestyle, which is built around helping clients achieve three main things: an unbelievable body, unstoppable confidence, and a bulletproof mindset. So that's what we got going on today. We have two different generations talking about fitness and health in two totally different ways. Connor, welcome to Top Fitness Strategies. Welcome aboard.
Thank you so much for having me on. Really appreciate it.
Okay, so if you guys couldn't tell yet, then you will in a second, Connor and I are on different sides of the planet. All right, I'm in the United States. He is right now he's in Portugal, he told me earlier, but he's also from the UK, which I'm sure he'll talk about in just a second. And he reached out to me and he says, hey, you know what? I want to be on your show. What can we do about this? I say, hey, let's bring it on. Like I said, two different generations talking about similar things, coming at it from different angles. So that's what we're going to talk about. But first, before we do that, Connor, tell us about yourself.
Nice one. So my name's Connor. I've been running my company for the last sort of three years or so. Grew up, obviously, being from the UK. Absolutely love to travel. I've been in sport my whole life. I grew up, obviously, being from the US. Swimming is a massive thing in the US. I was a swimmer growing up, and then I actually injured my back, and that's what led me into more of the gym sort of thing. And then did the really typical, started helping friends, started getting other people results after I got my own, and then things just sort of built and built and built from there.
All right. Well, fantastic. Say, and if you don't mind me asking, how old are you right now?
23.
Okay, you're 23. You're just wet behind the ears, my friend. I'm telling you what. And I mean, I'm used to talking to this old folks. All right, I'm an old man compared to you, more than double your age. We'll just leave it at that. I'm not gonna say how old I am. I'm over 50 though. And here you are, 23 years old, have your own company, traveling around the world. You got it together, my friend. I do appreciate that. So a lot of people don't achieve that, or at least set out to do that until they're way older than you. So obviously, because of this, in my opinion, and the way you're perceiving yourself, the way you're presenting yourself to me, you are a lot more mature than most 23-year-olds. So that's another reason why I wanted to talk to you, because most 23-year-olds aren't going to reach out to an older gentleman in the fitness world. Okay, so that's one of the reasons. And two, I like what you said here about your unbelievable body, unstoppable confidence, and bulletproof mindset. If you listen to anything I've done in the past, I'm all about the mindset thing. The unbelievable body, yeah, when I was 23, I wanted that as well. Now 50, it's not as achievable as it once was, but unstoppable confidence, that's another thing I talk about. So why those particular taglines? When you talk about health and fitness, why did you focus on that instead of the traditional, I'm going to show you how to get ripped and big muscles and all that good stuff? Because you said the unbelievable body, unstoppable confidence, and bulletproof mindset. That is way beyond what most people talk about in their fitness. Why that?
Because when it comes to myself getting results with the clients that I do, it was really about creating that whole 360-degree transformation. And yeah, getting them in shape is awesome. But I want it to go so much beyond that and get them amazing results physically, mentally, and genuinely transform these people's lives in all aspects. Because the things that they learn when it comes to, pushing themselves to create the body that they want, to build the confidence they want and have the mindset that they want, it's then going to go further into how they're bringing up and looking after their family, how they're chasing their career goals, personal goals, all of these things. So I've really looked at these three key pillars and gone, for me, this is what's going to give these people that knockout transformation from all aspects. And then
Mm-hmm.
a big thing that I center the whole program around is education. So then what these get broken down into is the unbelievable body. It's okay, how do we create an unbelievable body? Okay, it's through doing this with our training, it's through doing this with our nutrition, it's through doing this with our lifestyle, confidence. It's the same, it'll breach out from doing this, this, and this, and same with the mindset. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, and you've said this a few times, and I said it as well in your tagline, and I absolutely love this: the unbelievable body. So, when somebody comes to you and wants to hire you to train them, what would be your definition or their definition? What do you mean by an unbelievable body? Is that even a fair question to ask, or is that something outside the realm? Or how would you even answer
100%. Obviously, it's very, very independent to what that particular person wants. So obviously the goal is to get that individual person their ideology of, I feel fantastic in my body. I
that? Hmm.
could ultimately, the sort of goal for me with clients is for them to be able to do whatever the hell they want, to be able to go on holiday, feel absolutely fantastic. And if they want to go in the sea, take their top off, get in a bikini, they can do that. And they've got not a care in the world.
Hmm.
And that's what I would consider having that unbelievable body. And then, yeah, another part of the coaching is, if they want to do it, taking clients through to do a photo shoot, which I absolutely love doing with clients, because yeah, they look great, but the confidence that they get from doing that is next to none. And then feeds into the same thing with the mindset of, okay, if you can push yourself really hard like this when it
Hmm.
comes to your physique, how much more capable of you of doing things outside of the gym when it comes, like I said earlier, your family, your career, etc.
Absolutely. So I gotta tell you, all the male members of my audience just perked up when you said take your top off at the beach, because you're not very often. So I'm sure my male followers want to say, "Hey, which beach is he talking about? I'm heading over that way." So that's great. You mentioned the word nutrition before, which of course we're going to get into. That's part of being the health in the health and fitness world. Now, as you get older, you're going to realize, especially if you get once you get to your 50s and beyond, that the nutrition changes quite a bit. When I was 23, and I'm sure you're like this, you can eat anything on the planet and still have that killer body. All right. Doesn't happen like that when you're older. So, okay. Let me back up from that question a second. Your typical clients, I'm going to assume, are younger in stature usually, or do you deal with those old guys as well?
I've really got quite a mix. I would say I'm on average probably between 25 and 50, but one of my most successful clients ever is
Mm-hmm.
actually mid 60s. And I still have a
Really?
fantastic relationship with him now.
All right. All right. So what was okay? Now you just open up a whole new line topic question here. So you say he's one of your best clients. Now, did you know him before you did this, or did he approach you out of the blue? Or let me ask you that question. Yeah. So how'd you guys meet, first of all?
Instagram. So he
Okay.
was engaging with my content. It just then sparked into a conversation, and
Okay.
then that blossomed from there. And he was a client for about 2 years.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So on Instagram, and by the way, you can find him at that at Connor.Sleeman. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's
Connor.Sleeman.
correct, man.
Okay. All right. So, all right. So he came to you and said, "Hey, Connor, you're a young guy. I'm an old guy. What can you do for me?" So when you first started talking to the guy, was you thinking differently about training him versus people your own age, or how did you work around the age gap? And I'm not saying that in a you're better than us old guys, we're better than you. I'm not saying that like that at all, because obviously me being this age, I know, because I've lived through it all, you have to do different things with your body at our age than you do when you're 23. So how did you transition, if you will, to somebody with that lifestyle, that mindset, that mentality versus what you're used to?
Well, for me, every single person needs to be treated as their own individual when they first
Yes,
come in. So
it
I'll
does.
get people come in to myself that are really confident with training, other people that are terrified of training. So it's the same kind of thing, but with this particular client, he came to me and said, "Look, I don't want to go to the gym. I want to be fit. I want to lose body fat, but I have no interest whatsoever in going to the gym, doing this, doing that." I was like, cool. You don't need to. To get the results that you want, you don't have to.
Mhm.
Right. So we spoke all about the stuff that he'd done before, any issues that he had. He unfortunately struggles with arthritis in his knees. And then we sort of came up with a plan together around what was actually going to be realistic for him and what he actually wanted to do on a consistent basis. So he's got a really quite high end job, which naturally comes with a huge amount of stress as
Right,
well. So in
right.
terms of the training side of things, it was okay, what do you actually want to do? How many times do you want to do some sort of training? And he worked 5 days a week. So I said, cool. Well, is it realistic we do any in the week at all? And he said, you know what? On a Wednesday, I can do a training because I work from home on a Wednesday, and then I can do 2 days at the weekend. Cool.
Mhm.
Then it was right. Would you be happy to do some resistance band work from the comfort of your own home so that we can build up some strength, which was also just going to help with any sort of muscle pain, getting feeling good and moving?
Mhm.
Never done any sort of training before in this aspect in his life, and he absolutely loved it. Really, like,
Great.
got quite competitive with what he was doing at home, which was it was awesome to be a part of. Really,
That is fantastic. All right. So, all right, 'cause I don't want to focus on one particular guy because that's not fair to your whole business here. So, of all the people that you talk to, all the people that you train, is there a common theme as in hurdles people have to overcome no matter the age, or are you seeing that, or are you seeing that the younger folks have different type of hurdles than us older folks, or are you seeing any difference?
it's the same but different.
Okay.
Okay, so as soon as I think people get past 25 to 30 is when we start to pick up more responsibilities, when you're paying rent, you've maybe got kids, you've got
Mhm,
more things to pay for, and that's the real difference for me is
mhm,
when we go past that of I've got no responsibilities to I've got things that I need to prioritize.
mhm,
But a lot of the clients that I work with generally will be killing it in some way, shape, or form in their life, be it with their family, be it in their career. And the
mhm,
fitness side of things is why the hell can I not crack this when I'm doing so well with this? So it's
mhm,
something that they've tried and tried to do. So it's not for a lack of trying, it's just the lack of education around the things that they need to do and the lack of support to actually get from A to B. Because
mhm.
what I find, and I'm sure you'll think this as well, is information isn't the problem whatsoever. The problem for people is implementation, how they actually do it.
Mhm. Absolutely. Because what I realize or what the people I talk to, a lot of them, myself included with this, were athletes in high school, were athletes in college, and our working out consisted of whatever sport we were in. And if we went to the gym, most guys, if you ask them, they talk about their bench press, they talk about their squats, they talk about the curls. That's about the extent of it. And they think that's all there is to working out. And it's not a knock on any of the high school athletes. Again, I was one. I was a college athlete as well, a little bit, not much at all, but I was there. But that's all we did. That's all we were told. All we were taught. We weren't taught about the roundness of everything, the whole well-being, the whole fitness thing outside of those three type of exercises. Oh yeah, did we do them? Sure, but they weren't the focus of everything. And as they get older, as myself included, as we get older, like you said, things change. They start getting responsibilities. I call that life happens. Life happens, and life is your priority versus your health. It just I don't want to say it's human nature, but it just happens with everybody. You put your health and your wellness on this back burner, and you start doing what you need to do to get by in life, hopefully succeed in life. So then when we come out of that, all of a sudden, well, the only thing we know, and it goes back to what you just said, is what we did back when we were an athlete in high school, in college. So then when we reach out to somebody, they tell us something different. Like, oh, wait a second, that's not how I used to do it. So it's completely different. I know, and I'm rambling on here a little bit, but is that what you experience with your clients as well? Have I explained that in the way that you see it as well?
Definitely. And I think with what you said there, it's more men than women that are like, well,
Oh
10,
yeah,
20 years ago, I was doing this. I
oh
feel
yeah.
like women, especially in the earlier stages, are more susceptible to change because they don't have the ego. They're like, cool, if you
Mhm.
say it's like this, then it's got to be like this. Whereas men sometimes are like, I didn't do that before. And you have to almost, well, you need to educate them more in the earlier stages and say, yeah, but you aren't 25 now. You're like
Mhm.
this. And if you
Mhm.
actually want to get this, you need to do this, and this is why you need to do this.
Absolutely. I tell people all the time, if people follow me, they know this. I was a muscle head. I was a guy at the gym that had, arms out to there, a big V in my back and everything else. So I can relate to the muscle heads out there. I used to be one. So yeah, egos is huge with those guys, especially the former athletes. So it's over there. And we're too stubborn to think another guy trainer is going to tell me how to bench press. Really? Well, if that's all there was to it, no, we wouldn't have to, but there's a lot more to it. So I am glad you said that because this is something I experienced. This is something all the people that I talk to experience, especially when you said that the women are easier to train in that aspect than guys, because as guys, we're knuckleheads when it comes down to it. Yeah, that's older guys, especially. We're set in our own ways. So, all right. I want to touch on nutrition because I talked about this earlier. Like I said, you're 23. I'm more than double your age. I'm in my 50s. When I was your age, I could eat everything and I still had a killer body. Now I can't do that. Well, I can eat everything, but I won't have the killer body. So, so how do you? What is your approach on nutrition? Somebody your age versus somebody at my age. I know everyone is individual. I get that, but what are you experiencing when it comes to nutrition? If that's even a fair question to ask. Maybe I'm asking the wrong question here, but let's tell me about your philosophy with nutrition. How's that?
So when someone has a family, what and they are, that little bit older, we'll talk about their priorities because for people that are like that, a priority for them is probably going to be having dinner with their partner, with their family, with their kids, and that's really something that needs to be put at the forefront because they still want to do those things. I am
Okay.
a big advocate of, in the earlier stages of dieting, tracking, or even if it's maintenance, to track your nutrition in some way, shape, or form, but with the end goal of coming away from tracking, so that you can build up that understanding of what's in food, and understand that trade-off of, right, if I want to have this, I need to do this. So like when people are thinking Friday night, I love to have a takeaway, and then it's just having that education of, yeah, you can do that, but it's going to set you back 4,000 calories, and this is why you're in the position that you're in right now.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when they build up that education of tracking through, a period of time, they can then have that understanding of, right, I can still have a takeaway, enjoy myself, but maybe I'll be a little bit smarter with the amount of food that I order so that I can keep getting results, maintain results at the very least. So I think that initial period at the very least of tracking, for me, depending on the person's experience, is up to date. If they have like pre-existing eating disorders, then it's a different subject.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's sort of the average person, I think it's a really, really important thing in the earlier stages. But I also don't believe in just giving someone numbers and going, right, go track 2,000 calories on MyFitnessPal. So what I with my clients find is a lot a lot better for the people that I work with is in those earlier stages, really talking in detail. Okay, how many meals do you have? What do you actually like to eat? What don't you like to eat? What events do you have in your life going on? And then we'll come up together and build out their initial nutrition plans,
Mhm.
show them how to make changes to that, and then ultimately, progressively, I'll go, right, I want you to change this now. Here you go. And do that sort of meal by meal so that they're still making changes in their learning, but they're going up from the shallow end to the deep end, and I'm not just pushing them in at the deep end.
Okay. Great analogy there. So you mentioned calories and counting calories during what you just said. I am and I don't want to say I'm a believer because that's not the right word here. I am, I guess, lazy when it comes to that. I do not count calories. I do not weigh out my food. I can't stand doing that. Nothing against the people who do. I just don't like to do that because sometimes I want to eat more or sometimes I want to eat less. And so I don't want to have to fit that into a calorie counter. Excuse me, like the MyFitnessPal thing. Again, I have nothing against that. I have several good friends in the industry who preach that and teach that, and we get along just great. My philosophy is, again, how I coach and what I teach people are completely different than the clientele that you have. My clientele, basically, I tell them if you want to show off your body on stage, great goal to have, absolutely great goal to have. I'm probably not your guy because I don't teach it that way. Okay, because at my stage in life, that's not something that I want to do. And I talk to a lot of my friends, that's something they don't want to do. So that's another reason why I don't like to count calories. And I know I'm talking a lot here. It's my show, so I can. So what what is your philosophy on counting calories? Is that something that you recommend, you don't recommend, or how do you approach the calorie thing?
So no matter the nutritional approach, it's going to be centered around calories, even if you don't track them, isn't
Of
it?
course,
Because
yeah, yeah.
we're going to look at, okay, we want to eat lean protein, we want to eat plenty of fruit and veg. So, some people they don't want to do it. So it's okay, well, how can we improve your diet? And if they want to drop body fat and, oh no, we're bringing the calories down, they might not, but it's still centered around that without being sort of calorie focused, if you know what I mean.
Hmm.
So again, it depends on the person, but I do like to educate about calories so
Hmm.
that people can have that understanding of what they're actually putting into their body.
Hmm.
But if someone is just not getting on with it, and I have clients that just don't get on with it at all, so then it is okay, how do we look at this from a different angle and how do we have a different approach?
Hmm.
So with those people, I use what I've sort of coined as the automatic nutrition principles, which is
Oh,
just a sort of thing of like 10 things to tick off on the daily basis, which is like, okay, make sure each meal has protein source in it. Make sure with two of your meals you have vegetables and that kind of thing, so that they know they're still improving their nutrition without necessarily tracking it every single day.
I love what you just said. So what did you call that? A checklist? What did you phrase? How'd you phrase? What did you say it was?
The automatic nutrition principles, and it is just a big sort of like 10 checklist of things
Yeah.
for them to look at and go, okay, this is what I need to do with my food.
Automatic nutrition principles. As long as I've been doing this, and as many people have I interviewed, which is over 100, no one's ever said an automatic nutrition principles. I love that. Holy moly, dude! That's what you need to put out there, man. Automatic nutrition principles. That's great. I love that. So I'm going to steal that phrase, by the way. Yeah, those kind of things. Because the more I'm thinking about it, when you said that, like, that's the approach I take. Maybe not a checklist, but I tell people, all right, especially at the people that I talk to my age, we may not know what we need to eat to be healthier, but we know what we don't need to eat to be healthier. So, for instance, if we drink beer and eat pizza all the time, ain't going to cut it at our age. Your age, different story. All right. At our age, not so much. Yeah, people my age, we like our alcohol. We like our beer. We like our wine. Now, the ladies like the wine more than the guys do. Guys like the beer more than the ladies do. But it's out there drinking. But it's not the most healthy and nutrition for us. So the automatic nutrition principles, love that, love that, love that. All right. So Connor, again, you can reach Connor at Instagram at connor.sleeman.com, and I'll also link to everything in the show notes. I only ask for a half hour of your time. It's coming up there at the end. Tell people how they can reach you. I have a couple more questions for you, and all the benefits about being with you, and how you can help them.
Cool. So best way to reach me is through Instagram. It's always the easiest. I don't bite. So you can drop us a follow, and if you've got anything on your mind that you were lacking a bit of clarity on, I've probably either posted about it or I'm happy to help about it. And if you've made it this far in the podcast, and well, I just do really, really appreciate you listening to us rambling along there. So if you have and you want to follow me on Instagram, just drop me the message podcast, and I'll shoot you over a little something as a bit of a thank you for listening on so far.
Well, I appreciate that. And also, folks, as always, if for whatever reason you can't get in touch with Connor, get in touch with me. I'll make sure I get a message to him. Not a problem there. So Connor, also, you're over in Europe. I'm in the United States. You're actually in Portugal, you said. Do you work with clients all over the world, or do you just work with them locally one-on-one?
Yeah, all over the world. So I've currently got clients in the UK, in the US, Australia, and New Zealand. Yeah, that's okay. It for the time being.
Okay, and don't tell us any prices, because those change all the time, and I'm not going to ask for prices. But do you have a monthly contract? Do you have a yearly contract, or how do you charge people, or is that an individual case by case basis?
Generally, I will ask for an initial 4 months, because then it gives people that sufficient amount of time to actually get the results that they want to get. And then after that initial 4 months, just on a rolling monthly basis.
Okay. And do you usually work with people on once a week, twice a week, or how often, or does it depend on the package they get with you?
So the thing with what I do compared to, say, face-to-face personal training is I am here day in, day out. So generally with people, we'll have one official check-in per week, but we're communicating pretty much every single day, bar Sundays, because I do like to chill out myself and recover as well. So we've got that daily contact, one official check-in, the client sort of community group where people are supporting one another. And myself, I'll be popping up in there as well. And we have the client members area, which I've actually just spent hours and hours and hours revamping, which is built out in a way that gives people the information they need for the phase that they're in. So how it's broken down into is people that come in, they go through a kickstart phase, which is basically, once they've signed all the paperwork, whilst I get to work, here's some stuff that you can get to work on straight away, so that they're not waiting whilst I get everything ready. Then say they come in, it's a fat loss phase, they go into the body recomp section on the members area, which is all about, you're in a fat loss phase, this is the stuff that you need to know in detail. Then they'll sort of graduate that onto what I've coined as sustain and socialize, because it's all about maintaining the results that they've achieved, whilst actually having a life that they want to live, being able to, like I said, go out and have a couple beers and still maintain the results that they've achieved.
Good.
And then it will go through like a muscle building phase. Again, here's the stuff that you need to know for that, etc., etc.
Fantastic. Hey, I'm talking with Connor Sleeman with Aesthetic Lifestyles. I don't know if I'm saying that word right. Aesthetic Lifestyles. He helps his clients achieve three things: an unbelievable body, an unstoppable confidence, and in a bulletproof mindset. And I said at the beginning, I'm all about mindset. Love, 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 love mindset. I think that's the number one thing somebody needs in order to change themselves to the better. If it's not up there, it's not going to happen anywhere else. So, are you finding a lot of people you have to work more on their mindset than everything else?
I think it plays an absolutely enormous role.
Hmm.
100%. I think, well, I mean, there's so many angles for to look at it with. Like, I actually or planned out a training earlier, which is all about how we're constantly, in no matter what the situation, we're the boss of our own destiny, and we
Hmm.
need to recognize that because no matter what the situation is, we make a decision. Like, even if you go to a buffet at a wedding and you don't pick any of the food that's there, we choose how much of it we eat. So looking at it from all angles like this and how people talk to themselves, like people talk to themselves
Hmm.
really negatively. So it's all about changing that perception, changing how people word stuff, their organization to things, and really getting them to love themselves that little bit more. And like you said, get it up here so the rest can follow.
Fantastic. Man, oh man, oh man. You are just like I was 20 at 23, but 1,000 times better. I wouldn't have had even the foresight, if that's even the correct term, to be in your place. So, man, Connor, you're killing it. Keep up the great work. I do appreciate it. Folks, again, if you want to reach out to Connor Sleeman, feel free to. You can contact me. Go to Instagram at connor.sleeman.com, and also have it linked in the show notes and all that good stuff. So, Connor, any parting words you want to say to the crowd before I let you go here?
Just yeah, thank you very much for listening along this long. And like I said a little bit earlier, if you do pop onto my Instagram, drop me the message podcast, and I'll shoot you over a little training as a bit of a thank you for listening along so far. And I think you find it really, really useful.
Fantastic. All right, folks, I'm going to end it here. Connor, thank you for being the guest on Top Fitness Strategies. My name is Andrew. I am the face who runs the place. So stick around. You know what to do. Until next time, this is Andrew and Connor. Ciao.
Cheers.